advice do you have to homeowners?
Practicing that preparedness, starting the conversation now is always going to be a benefit to any association out there.
And welcome to Recovery Report Live, GlobalPro's deep dive into relevant business and insurance topics, providing actionable takeaways and valuable insights. We aim to update, educate, and inform you weekly. I'm Dan Odess, president of GlobalPro, where we manage risk to recovery. This week's been a bit more exciting than others with Hurricane Ada coming on shore here in Florida. A little bit of a tropical update. It made landfall in Cedar Key. It's now a tropical storm moving across through Jacksonville, and then it will, or it's intended to, battle a cold front to mix and create a tremendous amount of rain for the East Coast, which is obviously going to compound a lot of the issues that we have and overlap with some of the problems that we have with the rising COVID infections and pandemic and the election issues and et cetera, et cetera. That whole area is going to be tremendously dumped on. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about potential issues with these low-grade storms like Ada and some of the things that we historically have seen when it comes to claims being made by either clients or other policyholders, and talking with brokers about things that they're dealing with currently. And the mix of storms, as we've seen, we've had quite a few this year, and they continue to roll in here. And yesterday on the Weather Channel, I even saw that December is a possibility. There is still activity in the tropics. So we have to pay particular attention to low-grade storms and its impacts and how you need to handle these types of losses. We don't want to play down, or we don't want to make assumptions about our damages. And I find that a lot of policyholders have the tendency to do that. Oh, it wasn't that bad, or I don't think it was, in that area. And they start to make assumptions, act as an expert. And we want to sort of try to avoid those issues. And where I see the issues for policyholders in making claims is that the insurance companies, even when you have category 1, 2, or 3s, it always seems to be something less than what it actually was. Like we saw it in the Panhandles after Hurricane Michael. It was supposedly a category 4. Once it rolled on shore, a little bit, about a month later, it was actually upgraded once they actually looked at the wet meteorology data and said it was a category 5. We had already insurance companies saying, oh, the winds weren't extreme enough. But then when it got upgraded, statistically, it kind of was like, well, what were you saying? And we had the same thing after Hurricane Irma. We had many, many businesses, community associations impacted in the South Florida region by the storm. It was a strong category 1. You had tornadic activity all over South Florida region. And we had many instances where insurance companies would take conflicting positions. One building was damaged by a hurricane and the loss was shockingly, or not so, below deductible. And then you had another building where it had no hurricane damage and there was no hurricane. It was the same exact insurance company, literally in Miami, and this is a real actual claim scenario. You had 2 buildings right next to each other. One, they claimed the damages from a hurricane were below deductible. The other one, they claimed there was no hurricane whatsoever. And I find that you really, in these lower grade storms where you have that category 1 tropical storm, you see more of this issue. Even when you have a 4 versus a 5 after Hurricane Michael, we saw that issue. Again, what they're looking at is some of the NOAs, the notices of acceptance of some of these materials that are being used in construction. And they're trying to compare the science that was done in a vacuum versus what actually happened. The one thing that they don't have in these vacuums are these unforeseen issues where you have vortexes coming in where winds come around the edges of buildings, or tornadoes that spawn and increase the damage to those properties, or make the wind or the damage act in a very different way. And so we want to make sure that we analyze the situation with a microscope. We look at your particular issues and we make sure that you're actually representing those damages and not downplaying any of those issues. So, but when it comes to a storm like Ada, the real focus is not so much on the wind, right? It's more on the flooding, the water damage, and a new kind of a new category of damage called wind-driven rain. The insurance companies wrote that into policies, just a few years ago, unbeknownst to a lot of not only brokers but certainly policyholders, and kind of created this whole new category. We had sewer backup, we had water, we had overflow from drains, we had flooding, we have water damage, we have hurricane, we have windstorm. We have named windstorm. There's many different ways you can categorize damages that may have been caused by a hurricane. Some of it actually applies, some of it is insinuated to apply by insurance companies. So it's really important that you look closely at your policies and make sure you're making a claim for damages you can actually recover for. For a storm like Ada, as I was saying, there was a lot more flooding, there was a lot more water damage in buildings as opposed to, let's say, wind damage. So it's important that you look at actually what has caused the damages and that you're not assuming that, oh my God, I had damage from Hurricane Ada or Tropical Storm Ada, I need to report the claim to my wind insurer or my property insurance. You might only have a flood claim. So proper notice is important so that you don't create erroneous loss runs, but understanding also the difference between something like hurricane versus windstorm versus flood versus water damage versus wind-driven rain versus many other ridiculous anti-consumer policy language that may be included in your policy. We need to look closely at your policy. We need to look at how the insurance company is defining these words or terms and how you should report your damages. It's very important. And obviously we're here, experts in insurance. GlobalPro has been doing this for many years. And we first ask for copies of policies. And the reason why we're doing that is because these policies are getting increasingly more difficult to understand. It's becoming increasingly more difficult to navigate these issues. And a lot of these issues haven't played out in court yet. We're still seeing a lot of Hurricane Irma litigation here in South Florida. The Harvey litigation is still going on in Texas area, Maria, and obviously the Caribbean areas, Puerto Rico. So a lot of this language has yet to be properly defined by the courts and whatnot. So you want to make sure that you're affording the best coverage you purchased or that you're entitled to, and making sure that you don't prejudice yourself in any way by incorrectly reporting a claim or making assumptions about what your damages are. So, and compounding all of that is the rising numbers that are being reported by the media and the many different outlets like the CDC about the infections of COVID, and with that comes a lot of pandemic-related issues for local, state, and federal jurisdictions, which directly impacts our business community, but also community associations, or just our population in general, who are clientele or are those that want to order and buy materials in the supply chains, and the issues go on and on. It's a huge domino impact. And it's important that we all obviously, as business owners, community association managers, or board members, that we monitor those situations closely, because new restrictions are coming if they are not already enacted and in place. And as we head into the holiday season, it's further compounding the issue. You have people that are traveling more so than they might have otherwise been. As a business owner, we have to deal with a whole bunch of other issues, whether it's time off and our employees coming and going from our office place, a place of work, and making sure that we're adhering to the protocols that are in place, and making sure that we're not putting ourselves at risk. Because while we talk a lot about property-related damages, there's a whole other side of real property insurance, which is general liability. You also have your medical issues, et cetera, et cetera. So we don't want to expose ourselves to and put ourselves in not only ourselves, but as the business owner or the operator of the place of business or the association, but want to make sure that we protect the interests of our employees, of our clients, et cetera, et cetera. So make sure that you adhere to those restrictions, not only from a liability standpoint, also from an insurance perspective. There's a lot of nuances to that. So again, any sort of questions about that stuff, we're here. Contact us. Let us know what we can do to help you through that. But it's not all doom and gloom, and I certainly want to lighten the mood and switch gears a little bit here with our guest today, who knows all about having a good time. That's for absolutely sure. In fact, they built a business that helps you have an even better time. I'm actually a client first and foremost, and now a partner in some upcoming exciting events that we're planning, and we're going to talk all about that today, so don't want to race ahead and get too much into it. But as a business owner, I know firsthand that while the holiday season is a time of joy for most, it also comes with a tremendous amount of stress, some of the things that I just talked about, and a lot of pressure. You have gifting, time off, holiday celebrations, distraction after distraction. I talk with my team all the time about, planning ahead. I was talking in, I'd say probably June, about the upcoming holiday season and, hey, do you have any travel plans, things like that? Because I knew about the complexities, certainly in the pandemic, as it relates to doing these things. So we need to plan way ahead in advance. And that's certainly something we do here at GlobalPro, is we do a lot of planning. It's all part of our signature process. That's the ready section. We want to make sure we're ready for anything. But we want to find some distractions that are suitable for our businesses to operate, to engage our clientele, but also our employees, and make this fun. Just because we're at a distance or we're at a limited capacity doesn't mean that we can't have fun. So we want to make sure that we're looking for better and different ways to do that. So while it is 2020 and we know that it may get tougher, we want to continue thinking about doing things differently. And that's what our guest today is here to talk to us about, is thinking about different ways to engage our clients, different ways to engage your audience. The old saying of think outside the box, I think, certainly applies to 2020 and all the things that we're seeing. We've even seen a skateboarder swigging some cranberry juice turn into a TikTok star. All of a sudden, he's an overnight social media success. So the best part is a national brand embraced it, capitalized on it big time. Proof that we need to obviously find new ways to continue to engage. So without further ado, I certainly want to talk about our guest today, Cartel. I have Eddie joining me here. He's on screen, as you can see. I want to say a few things, Eddie, before we get into the questions about Cartel. It's a management company that embodies laid-back Miami swag and big city sophistication. That's for sure. Founded in 2015 by friends and fellow star bartenders Manuel, Eddie, Hector. They created this concept, 40 years of combined beverage and hospitality experience under the strangers from behind the bars to the small screen, allowing local restaurants and talent to all think differently about how to engage in superior beverage programs, consultations, event production. I mean, you guys are certainly take basic cocktails to another level. So Eddie, thanks for joining us today. Welcome to the Recovery Report.
No, thank you. Thank you for having us, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for having you a part of this and us as a company on the show.
We have some cool, exciting things coming up. Obviously, want to get into those. But before I do, I want to really give you the stage to talk a little bit about Cartel. Who are your clients? What is the brand? How did you come up with the concept? I mean, it's really cool. And again, I've gotten to experience it. I had a private party where you guys actually catered it. You might not even have known that. And my guest absolutely loved it. It was a 2019 holiday party. So it was like so crazy. There was like a lot of people there. So I'm a little familiar with it, but our audience may not be. So tell us a little bit about the brand. Who are your clients? And how did you come up with the concept?
So Cartel basically is a passion project that we decided to, after I've been in the business very little compared to my partners that have been 20 plus years in the business. I've been doing it now, I think 12 or 13 years, fortunately. So we worked with amazing companies before, big businesses, small, from iconic hotels to mom and pop organizations, but that are globally recognized for their cocktails and for their experience. And then we decided to, how can we smuggle hospitality to all these individuals locally and around the world. And we decided to, venture out and do it for ourselves. And it's been an amazing journey. You know what I mean? We've been working with clients that not clients, employers that became clients, and then give us a platform to then have other individuals that we partner up with, from cruise ship, from Virgin Voyages, their new cruise line, to Fontainebleau, to Turnberry, which is Fontainebleau's the iconic hotel that we all worked for, and gave us kind of our corporate background, but still at the time it was only one of one. Now they're branching out to different locations, but it's like a huge boutique hotel. It has over, I think, 1,500 rooms, but everybody knows your name. You know what I mean? So then that kind of gave us the family-oriented kind of vibe or structure, but with big business. So then when we started opening ours, we decided to, even though we're a small company, always think of kind of like scale. So always think big business. So it gave us the opportunity to work with huge companies, even though we're three guys, two from the island of Puerto Rico, one from, born and raised in Miami out of Hialeah, to work with like huge companies. So it's been very, very fortunate, and we feel blessed.
Now, as a fellow entrepreneur, we always remember our first, right? So no, I think when you get that opportunity, get that chance, you get to capitalize on it. You guys definitely created a brand for yourself. It's well known, and you guys have had a tremendous amount of success. But with that success comes challenges, and 2020 has certainly has been full of challenges. What has been some of the biggest challenges for your business in 2020?
I look at it, the challenges as almost opportunities, how to flip a negative into a positive. I was kind of touching on this before coming onto the show with people behind the scenes. Elliot, shout out to Elliot. We are, it's instant gratification, right? We're a business that we deal with people day to day across our bars or in our restaurants, and then for that to be taken away from us, it was a huge, I guess I keep on saying, opportunity to pivot, right? How are we going to do this now? How are we going to interact? How are we going to connect, right? And thankfully this happened in 2020. That's how we all look at it, because we have technology and we're able to do what we're doing right now, being safe, and doing programs how we partnered up to do, as far as we're going to create an experience. It's delivered to your home, but then we get to interact with everybody involved. And whether it's one person, 3 people, or 400 people, we get to still touch them. So in the best possible way, and give them an experience. So these challenges were, again, an opportunity to learn from them and see how we're going to grow. We can't stop, right? We have to look at it, it's almost like a shark. If we stop, we die. So we can't let this business and our beautiful industry die. So then we have to learn new ways on how to interact. So I look at it as these challenges as opportunities to think outside the box, as you mentioned earlier, and still be able to interact. So I kind of love it, because now we can finally get back to interacting with individuals within our space, which has been a blessing that we get them back. I was a little, for like a couple days, I was a little scared, to be honest, that we might, again, because the media and the more you let individuals influence your thought process, you're like, wow, it could be that we have no more hospitality business. But that, I was like, what are we talking about? As long as there's people and there's something to celebrate or something to mourn or something to talk about, there's going to be drinks flowing, and there's food to have and good experiences to have. So it's I see it as not as a good thing, but I saw it as a time to be forced to think outside the box, and beautiful things have been happening because of that. Yeah. So these challenges, I think, have been good.
No, I think it absolutely tested a lot of businesses' resilience, and how they're going to react and how differently, and it really made you, I think, look closely at the business model. And you shed some things, you added other things, and you kind of evolved with it. And
e-commerce business for like a little bit. That's how we kind of like looked at ourselves. Like, how can we position ourselves online? How's that marketing look like? Photos, packaging.
I want to talk about that. Yeah, I want to talk about that. How did you? Social media has become. I mean, there was a trend towards it becoming the center of a lot of people's lives. You have this thing called influencers, right? How did you guys use social media to create that leverage? And like I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, which was about, there's skateboarding, toting, cranberry drinking, kind of pothead, if you will, who's hysterical, and I've enjoyed watching his videos. There's an absolute reason, but it's all organic and it's natural for him. How did you guys use social media in this new opportunity? Let's call it that. Because from a business perspective, it is a new opportunity. How did you use that to kind of continue to grow the business and to kind of forge ahead?
How do we do it? We have amazing partners that have an abundance of experience, and then collectively, that's why I love my team. We just kind of went back and like, all right, so what do we need to do? And like I said a second ago, like, so we can't look at ourselves as a restaurant or a bar anymore. Now we're an e-commerce business. So what does that mean? And then going into that, so then we created a website. We created I'm not very tech savvy, so please excuse me if these terms I might get, but like, you point to click or something, and then automatically you go exactly to our website, and then you go to what you need, and there's a picture of how delicious the cocktail is, and you get it, and it gets delivered to you. So we looked at it like, all right, so how can we interact, and how can we put ourselves on social media, on Facebook, one click straight to buy, right? Like, how do we make the experience on the online world and in the social media world very, very easy? Because like, person like me, I don't know, it was challenging to get this laptop open and Zoom up. And I was even scared about sound and video. So I was terrified, but that's great because it forced a lot of individuals and to pivot and to embrace technology, because it's either you evolve or die. You know what I mean? Yeah. Either you embrace it or you're done. Like if in this pandemic, people don't know about you, or they're not listening or hearing about you, by the time it comes to now that we're reopening, you have to start from scratch, even if you've been open for 6 years. Yep. So to be in front of people is very important. So social media gave you that opportunity, that all that mapping and technology was already there. And then all we had to do is just, make a little hyperlink, put it on our bio, and then they see cool pictures like, oh my God, I'm thirsty, that looks refreshing, or I'm hungry, that looks delicious, click. And then we were at your home, you know what I mean? And then we got into Zoom, which Zoom, if you had stock in Zoom, Babel, you made it. And when everything was going down, this blew up. And we had an opportunity to be in hundreds of homes, whether it was with our product or, like I said, with Zoom, we got to interact again with individuals, which it was air again. You know what I mean? To see somebody laugh or like, oh my God, this is delicious, or oh my God, this is too spicy, or how can I? And that whole thing, I don't know, it's everything. Interaction within our business to us is, there's no hospitality if you don't have somebody else on the other side of your bar or people in your restaurant. You're just a space, and that's what you would hear. You would hear nothing, like no laughter, no dancing, no like. To me, that's why I fell in love with this business. So it gave us a chance to be, we bring the party to you.
No, no, at all, man. This is what it's all about. I think you've seen a transition from the concept that you need the brick and mortar. Then you have the rise of ghost kitchens, and you have these all these different opportunities. I mean, even the spirits and wine brands have gotten so creative with how, I think obviously online shopping is a big deal, and to how to get access to this stuff, and then logistically, how do you get it to them, and everything else. I think people are realizing they need to create more of an experience around things. It's not just some wine shoved in a box anymore. I think it's made branding become that much more important because they're not going to be buying what's on the end cap in the store anymore. They want to buy a brand, and I think brand is not just only about taste, right? So they, and I think that's social media, right? It's about front-facing brands, and so once you like the brand, that means taste is second, right? So it's, I think, and there's just so much out there, so much variety, and I think social media exposes the amount of variety, And I think it makes it increasingly more difficult to figure out for a consumer which one you want. So you're going to gravitate to the brand that you want to be into to share with. So I think you're seeing a lot of that. And I want to transition a little bit and talk about and give some advice to fellow business owners. I mean, you're in the business of creating an experience. So what can and I've gotten some questions from fellow business owners about, hey man, what are you doing for the holiday season? I got a call 2 days ago, 2 nights ago actually, and from a client who's become a very good friend of mine, very successful businessman. He's like, Dan, man, I'm really struggling with the holiday season. I don't know what to do with my employees. We always have these big parties. We do multiple different parties in different areas. You got any ideas? And I was literally on the phone with him probably for 3 hours talking about all different kinds of concepts, looking at price and budget, stuff like that. And I'm not even in the business, but we were just like spitballing ideas back and forth. So for you, what are some ideas or things that you guys are looking at doing or planning for clients that other business owners out there may be able to use or do something kind of different or the same?
I would strongly suggest, and what we're kind of leaning towards is obviously keep it safe, social distancing, keep that in the forefront. Packages, brother, packages. Gift, you know how they do gift bags in the holidays? It brings a whole new meaning to, just shoving some like chocolate, maybe a wine and maybe some fruits and then give it to somebody. Now it's, you have a cocktail to go, maybe also accompany with some food, like some catering food. So packages, make it easy, one-stop shop. You know what I mean? And obviously, like you said, branding. So make it look fun, make it maybe, like for us on Grails, make it look like on brand. So ours might look like a sneaker box. You get a sneaker box to your home, and then next thing you know, when you open it, there's no sneakers. It's a cocktail, it's something to eat. It all pairs well together. Or it could be Spanglish or other brand. And that's more Spanglish worldly. So it could be a suitcase. So you get a box that looks like a suitcase, and then you have everything in there. So try to keep to what has worked for you in the past as far as your branding, and then incorporate your items. And maybe also merch. You know what I mean? Back to the brand. It's has to be a lifestyle, and that's how we look at it. It's not just what you taste. Or what you're eating. It has to be the people that are there. Thankfully for social media, back to the previous point, you get to interact and connect with people. And then when you like that person, then you're like, all right, what they have this. Well, I want to try that because I like them and I trust them, so I want to grab it. You know what I mean? Or I like what they're wearing, I want to buy it. You know what I mean? It's brand recognition, but now it's how you live. You know what I mean? And that's what big companies do. You know what I mean? They make you want to be a part of their life. You know what I mean? Like Apple, for a big company, I have the laptop, the phone, everything, and I can't live now without it. It is a lifestyle that people have to walk.
They got you.
So
now they got the 12 because the 11 wasn't enough, and then they're going to come out with everything else, and then your phone's
you
not
have
going
it in front of you. So you're like, it's our world, and so then for us, it's it's the hat, it's the shirt, it's the vessels that you can take home with you, and take a part of us with you and be with you every day at home. And that's what I think is that touch. So think about those things. Who's your consumer, right? Who are you trying to target? Who are they? What do they want? And then after that, then within your brand or within your lane, give them that. You know what I mean? For us, it's food and beverage, and then we tie in the cool hat, or the shirt, or the shoe vessel, or we have on Spanglish, we have a paloma, and then we have a little bird. So it's like having the whole experience packaged, a little gift to you.
We have a awesome event coming up where we've partnered with you guys, Cartel. Check them out online, and Kettle One Vodka. Title: Satisfy Our Souls. Sneakerheads, gotta love it. But really what it is about our initiative, a GlobalPro Cares Foundation, and Fresh Kicks and Cuts, and bringing together brands to do a collaboration where we're actually going to be engaging our clientele, a group of property managers that has been pivotal in our business, that has been helping us along the way. and really a celebration of what they're doing. And this is our opportunity to kind of give back. And this initiative is very exciting for me. It's on November 18th. Talk to us a little bit about what our clients should be experiencing and how this concept came together.
It was a great opportunity and getting amazing brands to work together for something amazing, and being able to instead of having individuals be a guest at our place, we get to be a guest in your home with this package to go, and you're going to be able to. Can I give spoilers, or is it supposed to be?
You can hint at them. You can't
Okay,
just give
all right. Because I don't want to I don't want to no surprise. You know what I mean? Later, you're going to be able to have a piece of grails come to your home, and then back, to the mantra, we get to satisfy your soul. You know what I mean? And it's also, soul of your sneaker. So double entendre. Maybe that's a little hint on what might happen, right? There could be some gold in the future. And then, so this came together of something fun, right? Something that will be easy to execute, and it'll be fun. You know what I mean? So I expect laughter. I expect a lot of high energy, and all this in a little package being delivered to us. So a piece of us collectively, right? All these brands put together, taken to your home, and then we get to thank God for technology again. There's an inside joke. I love technology. We're able to connect, and that's an amazing thing. So it's I don't know, man. This is dope. I get really caught up on like how amazing these opportunities are to really just connect people. You know what I mean? We're a big people person. Like without people, we're nowhere. And to give a little love to everybody, it's dope. So yeah, this is an amazing.
And there's a whole charitable part of it as well, which is fantastic, which builds on the whole thing. And I think it just works so well. And I'll be broadcasting from our actual new office in the kitchen. I won't be wearing a sport coat. I'm going to be, I'll be certainly a t-shirt and some fresh kicks. So
I'll hold that.
I'm going to dust off a special pair that I've had stuck in a box and haven't been able to wear them because I got them in early 2020. Right. So
I was mentioning before, and now I'm going to bring it live. So a miniature sneaker competition. I challenge everyone on the show. Right. Maybe 5 seconds, not too long. You know what I mean? But we'll do that later. Yeah.
We got a tough group over here at GlobalPro that's got quite. We're real deep in our sneakers. So,
Grails challenges GlobalPro. So
all right. We'll see what we can do. So how can our audience get in touch with Cartel, find out about all the awesome things that you guys are doing? Website, phone number.
Website, cocktailcartelco.com. Social media is best. So Cocktail Cartel Co. Or at Cocktail Cartel Co. On our social media platforms. Also, obviously our babies. So Spanglish, at Bar Spanglish, at Grails Miami. Also, the websites are very similar, grailsmiami.com and Spanglish.bar. For Spanglish, and that'll be the best way to contact us and Cocktail Cartel. And just follow us, watch the show. You're gonna be entertained. You might see things being flown in the air. You're gonna see fresh kicks. Nice. And you're gonna see a lot of doing our best to give you the best experience and being as hospitable as possible to continue smuggling hospitality into every home.
I love that, man. I love it. Well, Eddie, awesome to have you on, man. And I'm really looking forward to this upcoming event. So
there's so many people behind me right now that's giving me an opportunity to talk to you today. It's a team effort, and that's another great thing that I want to leave with. That it's all about your team, because right now you're in front of the camera, you're the face right now, but there's so many individuals within your team that gives you the opportunity to be, to do what you love every day. You know what I mean? So, shout out to all the hard workers and team members and crew, squad, Cartel, right? It's a family mentality. So shout outs to all the cartels out there that help all these beautiful brands collaborate every day and be able to give, hopefully, it will happen next week, giving this little gift to everybody. So thank you so much for having me on the show, for having us on the show.
No, absolutely, Eddie. No, again, thank you. Obviously, I have 3 beautiful people to my right here and a couple logged in. There's 5 people making me look good and you even better. So, no, absolutely appreciate it. It certainly takes a team, and we're very appreciative of the opportunity. So, huge thanks to Eddie and all of our attendees that tuned in this week. Go online at getglobalpro.com. Check out our website. Click the resource section to read and download important information you need to be prepared. Be sure to check out our YouTube channel to watch today's broadcast and like us, follow us, engage us on all the social media platforms. We love to connect with our clients and community, so call us anytime or shoot us an email. Remember to tune in next week. We'll be joined by GlobalPro's very own health and fitness coach and my dear friend, Anthony Mendez. We all have something to learn from Anthony. I mean, this is a kid that absolutely built his own brand, as we've been talking a lot here about today. He has an incredible story for many entrepreneurs. You definitely don't want to miss this one. We're going to discuss setting goals to mitigating the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. I'm really looking forward to this broadcast. Again, thank you, Eddie, and all of our attendees for tuning in this week on the Recovery Report Live.